quickly we'll answer the questions. And question number 1, can man see Allah Azza wa Jal in this life? No. Will Muslims see Allah Azza wa Jal in Jannah? Yes. Not all of them, but mind you. There's a 3 type of people who will never be allowed to see Allah Azza wa Jal. Question number 3, can man see objects made of atoms? Yes. Question number 4, we can't see Allah because Allah is not made of anything. Allah always there. You need something made of atoms to see. Number 5, the flame of hellfire cannot be seen because it's too hot. So it's heated till it became red, then heated till it became white, then heated till it became red. So the flame doesn't emit heat, but it emits you. Question number 6, man can see a reflection of light and atoms. Question number 7, it's quite few correct in that. Shaitan can go through you but not sit in you. But shaitan made of smokeless fire, like waves. Waves go and sit in you. Could hit you and go to the other side. This is how they use the X-ray. The ray goes through you, and then the film absorbs the light coming through you. If it's a bone, it will be less light, so it will be white. So we see your bones, your skeletal, and we don't see. We see organs, but not in clear details. This is why we use MRI scan and CT scan. The next one, angels are made of light, therefore cannot be seen. And we said you don't see photons. But angels are not light directed to object and reflected on you. They are made of light. We don't know how and what. And process of seeing, receiving light emitted by atoms after atoms are hit by photons. So you need, Allah is not atoms to shine a torch on him and say, oh, that's God. Can't do that. Allah is not made for a stop. Allah is there. But he's not atom like us. Nothing similar to us. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. Nothing similar to Allah. And وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. Nothing equal to Allah. Nothing similar to Him, nothing equal to Him. So everything you think about Allah Azza wa Jalla, Allah is different. Because لَا تُدْرِكُهُ الْأَبْصَارِ. Visions will never grasp Allah Azza wa Jalla. وَهُوَ يُدْرِكُ الْأَبْصَارِ. There's no way you can perceive what Allah is. But He knows all what's going in your brain, in your mind, in your body. The next one, Allah is not a collection of atoms, we said. The next one, if sunlight hits your eyes directly, it could make you blind. Why is that? Because it carries a lot of gamma rays and theta rays and things. So it destroys your optic nerve, and within 2 weeks you will be blind. Luckily it's painful when you look at the sun, you can't stare. But people look at the sun when there's eclipse, because the moon blocks most of it, but there's enough light coming from the edges to damage your retina and damage your optic nerve and make you blind. It will become swollen and then atrophied, and within 2 weeks you're blind. And what Islam has, what you have to do according to Sunnah when there's eclipse, what do you have to do?
You have to go to the mosque and pray.
Yeah. Go to the mosque and pray, worshipping Allah Azza wa Jalla, who created this phenomena until
it's gone.
Until it's gone. Until the eclipse. Could be 1 hour or something. Depends on how long it takes for the moon to move across the sun. And then the next one, microwave heat is not visible. The next one, microwave light is less harmful than daylight. Why is that? Because it is
it's not visible.
Ultraviolet not visible. And theta and gamma rays coming from the sun is not visible. Luckily, the ozone layer absorbed these harmful rays coming from the sun. But when they were they use CFC, a lot of gas damage the ozone layer, then they banned it because it could make holes in the ozone and harmful light, more of it will reach you. But the daylight contains more harmful lights than the microwave magnetic effect of it. Because microwaves shake your food. It's like when you shake your hands. What happened?
I think I'm in here.
Hello, what's that? Are you a new student?
No, it's my Dr. Marwan sent me here.
Say it again.
Dr. Marwan, I don't know the teacher's name. He sent me here.
He sent you here to be a student here?
Yeah, just for a day.
Just for today? Were you naughty or something? No. Okay, sit down. We don't charge, it's okay if it's free. So it shakes your food and heats it, like when you shake your hands like this. When it came to use 1985, I bought one. A lot of my friends wouldn't buy one. Oh, it would be harmful to us. And still some people don't buy microwave now. I mean, been using it now, what, 40 years? None of us developed any illness. The next question, Shaitan and angels can see us, but we cannot see them. Allah said in the Quran, إِنَّهُ يَرَاكُمْ وَقَبِيلَهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا تَرَوْنَهُم. That Shaitan and his group, his army, see us while we cannot see them. So if somebody come and say, he saw Shaitan, what do you say to him or her? What do you say to him? Go and see a psychiatrist. Yeah, I'll deal with him. No one can come and say he saw Shaitan. Probably he is Shaitan, but he hasn't seen Shaitan. There's a human Shaitan. Where in the Quran there's a human Shaitan? You get a present for that. I ran out of chocolate. Everybody wants chocolate. Nobody wants a pen to write. Where in the Quran? Yeah, Farah. Are you answering? Or are you just shaking your hand?
It's in Surah Baqarah.
About human Shaitan. You all know it. You all know it, but you need to get it as example.
Is it Qul Huwallahu Ahad?
No. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ. Let me read the description of Allah. Where in the Quran? Come on. You were taught it when you were 5 years old. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. So it's nas who are shaitan and whisper, bring you bad ideas. Could be your best friend. Oh, let's go and laugh at that guy. Oh, you heard about this? And he starts gossiping. He's shaitan. He comes and borrow your book or pen, never to come back to you. Stole it. So it's a human shaitan. You need to be careful when you meet them. And you need to avoid them like a plague. So who's not here now? You're not coming here next week, are you? No. Where will you be? Malaga, Madrid. If it's your age, you should be in this class because I take here 12 and above. Unless you know nothing at all about Islam, then I will have to teach you the very basic. Marwan. About first hour, you come straight to the second hour? How old are you?
15.
15, you should be in this class. Now, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The class today, I'm going to introduce to you this book. This volume 1, it's 3 volumes. But the beauty of this book is take more than Minhaj al-Muslim, which I advised you to buy before. But talk to you about what the Hanafi say, what Shafi'i say, what Maliki say, what Hanbali say in details, and bring you the ayahs and the hadith from the Quran and Sunnah. And it's well balanced book, and there's no hate in the book. Unfortunately, the other one, Minhaj al-Muslim, there's some hate in when you talk about your non-Muslim neighbors and how to talk to non-Muslims. And when he talk about jihad also, we did the correction. I printed correction to that, and it's in the book. But this book, I've sent it to all of you on the list. Not all of you on the list, are you? Anybody doesn't receive directly from me? Are you? Sarah, Chesty, directly. Do you get directly now? We have your number correct, Farah. Yeah. So I've sent this PDF. You can print it or read it on PDF, but also you could buy it. If you want to buy it, tell Director Shazad at the front, Naim, and he will buy it for you. So you place an order. I prefer you have the physical book, really. You read from it, and it will be a reference for you for life. I go back to this, I bought that ages ago, and ripping off. Volume 2 is not translated to my knowledge, and Volume 3 is not. When you talk about economy and commerce and slavery and relationship and marriage and divorce, I will have to translate it to English for you. Which is now it's easy to do it through ChatGPT. You just put the page and it will translate it straight to English. Most of the translation is fine. There's some words ChatGPT doesn't know how to translate, or he take other, because sometimes the word has 3 or 4 different meanings. So when we translate using ChatGPT, we go over it again to see whether he's getting it right or not. Like when we say, وَقَدْ أَقَرَّ الشَّارِعُ أَنَّ, that the shari' decided. Shari' in Arabic has multiple meaning. One of the meaning is the one who make the law. The shari', the one who make the law, which is Allah and His Messenger. Make sharia. This is where sharia came from, shari'. And shari' in Arabic mean road. And then when I asked ChatGPT to translate, he said, and the road decided, the road doesn't decide. But he took the meaning of Shari' as road, while it should be Shari' is Allah Azza wa Jal, who make the Sharia and His Prophet. So we'll go through a couple of pages here, and in your leaflet will be number 68, and bit of 67 as well. He talk about, like here, talking about the water you can use. Every fiqh book, they start with the Taharah, purity. And say, the water coming from the rain, snow, or hailstone is halal, is pure, can use it for wudu and ghusl. And he brought the ayah and the hadith. And then the water of the sea, he brought the hadith. And Zamzam water, and he brought the hadith. The Prophet made wudu from Zamzam. And then he mentioned the water which is in a lake standing, not a running river. Running river is fine, but a lake or a pond, small pond. And he said if it's mixed with algae or mixed with leaves, it's okay, you can use. Usually these sort of waters you don't put in your mouth. Even could be the sea water or could be the running river. But you can use it for washing your face, your arms, your hair, your ears, your feet. And you take it as water. The minute it's called water. Then if it is used water, can you use it for wudu or not? If it's used for wudu, water used for wudu, it's okay to use it second time. Obviously, I'm not going to collect somebody else's water. But if you are making wudu from a bucket, and 2 or 3 of you using the same bucket, taking water, so your hand goes into it, take the water out, then traces of the water you use will drop in, which could be, you could say, like partially used. But he meant the water, if you are actually making wudu and you wash your arms, then you have wet hands, you don't need to get new water to brush your hair. So with the wet hands, you brush your hair and clean your ears. If you are making tayammum, sorry, not tayammum, if you're making wiping over your socks, now I always advise you, for God's sake, when you put on your socks in the morning, make sure you have wudu. So you have wudu, you put on your socks and wipe over it for Zuhur, Asr, Maghrib and Isha. What's disturbing in this country, people seeing you in the office or in the public toilet and things, and you take off your socks and you put your feet in the basin. Usually in this country, they fill the basin with water and they wash their face. When they see somebody putting his feet in it, he get disgusted. And sometimes it's not practical to do it, and sometimes it's too small to put your feet in it. So why have wudu in the morning, put on your socks, wipe over your socks. You might have to take off your shoes, unless you're wearing shoes like mine, covering the ankle, you can wipe over it. But if you are going to pray in a mosque, you probably will have to take off your shoes. So wipe over your socks. So with wet hands, after you finish your arms, you wipe over your hair and your ears, and with the wet hand, you wipe over your socks. You don't have to get new water. Islam is so practical and so easy to handle. Muslims make it too complicated and get told off. When we started praying in Nova Green, which is now the leisure center in Solihull, the admin brought me to the bathroom and he showed me the Muslims put drying papers in the basin to put their feet in it, and put drying tissue in the floor to put their feet on it when they finish, and then they block the basin, they drop the water on the floor, and he showed me the paper blocked the drain and there's a pool of water there. So he said, what's that? What's that? So I told the brothers, but for God's sake, if you want to make wudu in this center, just put on your shoes and your socks, especially your socks when you had wudu. So when you come here, you wipe over your socks. You don't have to wash your feet. So anyway, so you have, you can use the water already on your hand, which you use to wash your arms, to wipe over your hair and your socks. And when you are junub, if you need a bath because you are junub, you lost your ghusl, first you don't become impure as a body. People can shake hands with you, there's nothing wrong with that, and can hug you or something. Abu Huraira, he was walking, he didn't have ghusl, so he saw the Prophet ﷺ and he avoided him, and went, had a ghusl and came back. So the Prophet ﷺ asked him, why you avoided me when you saw me? He said, I didn't have ghusl, so I didn't want to face you and shake hands with you because I didn't have ghusl. The Prophet said, subhanallah, the Muslims doesn't get impure. It's theoretical, it's a spiritual impurity. So impure, the kafirin are impure to go to the holy mosque in Mecca. But not impure to walk to your mosque if there is a meeting or is a lecture or something. They're not impure to shake hands with you. But they are impure only for going to Mecca. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, إِنَّمَا الْمُشْرِكُونَ نَجَسٌ فَلَا يَقْرَبُوا الْمَسْجِدَ الْحَرَامَ بَعْدَ عَامِهِمْ هَذَا. That the mushrikeen, the pagans and the kafirin, they are impure, spiritual impurity, they should not enter the holy mosque in Mecca after that year, the year 9. And the Prophet ﷺ sent first with Abu Bakr and then with Ali, they announced that mushrikeen are najas, they should not come to Hajj after this year, banned. When the Christian, Jew, atheists complain that they cannot go to Mecca, what do you say to them?
There's nothing for you to do there.
Hmm?
It's got, like, there's nothing for them to do there. What are they going to do there?
What are going to tourists want to look at Mecca, at Kaaba? What do you say to them? Practical answer. Are you answering? No. For a present, get the answer. You get a pen or a pencil sharpener. There's one chocolate left. If you want to go to any country, you apply for a visa, yeah? And you sign, you obey the law of that country. What's the law you have to agree with before you go to Mecca? What do you have to say?
You have to be Muslim, so you've got to say that.
You have to say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. If you say it and sign, we'll get you to Mecca. If you don't want to say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, oh, sorry, you can't go there. So when you go to Mecca, just before you reach the city center, there is a sign saying that non-Muslims should go that way or that way. You can't go forward. So you're not allowed. But impurity is spiritual impurity. How would you become impure if he is kafir? How would he become impure? Good question. إنما المشركون نجس فلا يقربوا المسجد الحرام. I think if you ask me the question, there's no straight answer from the Quran or Sunnah why he become impure. But probably many of them don't have any respect to any najasa, any impurity. Like in Islam, if you touch urine or feces or blood or alcohol, you need to wash your hands, or touch the saliva of a dog or a pig. You need to clean yourself. When I came to this country, they don't. Urine doesn't make any difference to them, or feces. I used to see people in casualty, and there is stain on their underwear. They don't wash themselves properly, not from feces either. So they could smell. They discovered, I mentioned this last year, I think, in one of the lessons. They discovered when they went to Palestine, when they invaded Palestine in time of the Crusaders discovered they were more smellier than the Muslims. Then they asked why. Muslims said we have to wash ourselves pure properly after using the loo, and we have to have a shower at least once a week. It's غسل الجمعة فرض على كل مسلم ومسلمة. You have a shower once a week. It's a fard. You have to have a shower or a bath. So Allah wants you to make, always smell nicely. And even if you leave your home, you go to the mosque, you have to touch the mosque. You have to put some perfume on. But najas, spiritual impurity, he doesn't believe in Allah. Mushrikun. He doesn't believe in Allah. He is not pure. Islam purify you. Zakah purify you. Purify your money. Some purify you. Salah purify you. So, and then he talk about the third one. If the water is being mixed with something else, will it make it usable or not? If it changes the color or the smell or the taste. But if it is, if it's not mixed with slight perfume, doesn't make it impure. Because the Prophet ﷺ asked the Sahaba when his daughter Zainab died, to wash her with water 3 times or 5 times, and mix with it kafur, which is a nice perfume. And then after they finish, ask him to come and make dua for her. And he used a bucket to make ghusl with his wife Maymuna, while the buckets, there were traces of pastry on it, but didn't mix with it, didn't make it white. It means, like, if you have something which is impure because of germs or urine or feces, or you need to clean it. But if there's traces of food on it, mind you, at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, it wasn't easy to get water. It's not like running water in houses now. So you'll be lucky if you have a bucket of water. It happened there were traces of pastry on it. So he didn't consider it as contamination, because pastry itself is not najis. You know the pastry, the dough before you make it bread, just traces of it. And he used it with his wife Maymuna, so both can use the same bucket to make wudu. Then he talked about the water which is met by najasa. We'll make it unusable as wudu, unusable for wudu, but it's not najis. If the color changed, the color or taste or smell changed. If somebody spill 7-Up on you, do you have to wash your clothes? Apart from, just the sugar or something. If it's sugar-free, will it make it najis, impure? 7-Up, no. But you can't make wudu with the 7-Up. Why? Because
it's not pure water.
what changed in it? The taste. Yeah, the taste is why we buy it. Otherwise, water with some carbon, CO2. But the taste changed, so you don't make wudu with it. And the Arab have habit sometimes putting rose water. There's also rose, but the taste changed, and sometimes the smell, because perfumed water. But if there is, you go to a swimming pool and you make an intention to dive with the intention to have ghusl and wudu. You dive in the swimming pool, you come out, you had already done the wudu and ghusl. But if there were a toddler who did his business in it, will it make it tahur? Will it be usable for wudu or ghusl? Depends on who is the toddler. No. Any toddler. Doesn't make it unusable for ghusl. Come on. No. The answer no, because the Prophet ﷺ said, if it's more than 2 qilla, which is 2 barrels of water, this little bit of things doesn't make it unusable for wudu, because so diluted. So it's a big swimming pool, you wouldn't worry. And germs, usually they put chlor to kill the germs and things, but it's not. You could come across a pond like this, or a small lake or something, but you can use it, because if it's more than 2 barrels of water, the impurity will be so diluted. But probably you might not put it in your mouth or nose, and washing the mouth and nose is sunnah anyway. Your wudu is still valid, even if you don't put the water in your mouth, or you don't put the water in your nose. And I advise you not to, because you don't want to go and make wudu in a lake or a pond and then get an illness, because Islam is not supposed to harm yourself. Now, if if somebody who is junub or haid or kafir, if he goes into the water, will make the water impure. If he had no ghusl or had no, or he's kafir, will it make the water impure? One of guys who came here early, many years ago, he was living with a family, but when he filled the bath, to have a bath, they used to ask him not to drain it. They used the same water. But it's less than 2 barrels, so you don't use it. In Islam, it's not usable for wudu. But if somebody like, mushrik or kafir or even Muslim with no ghusl and he dive into the swimming pool, will it make it impure? You're not answering today. No, it wouldn't, because it's more than 2 barrels. And even if he is a toddler and did his business in it, it doesn't actually make it impure. But if he's a kafir, this najasa is spiritual najasa, and doesn't make him impure himself. You can shake hands with him, you can hug him, but he cannot go to Mecca to move around Kaaba. And they used to come to the Prophet ﷺ's mosque, and he allowed the Wafd Najran, Christian, came to discuss with the Prophet ﷺ Islam and Christianity, and he allowed them to pray their Christian prayer in his mosque. Imagine if there's a Christian comes to the Central Mosque in Birmingham, or Gamgol Sharif or Green Lane, and they want to pray the Christianity, have a communion. Will they allow them? You think? No. But the Prophet allowed them, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He allowed the Christian to do their worship in his mosque in Medina. Now the Muslim probably would kill them. My wife went to Leicester. We had a Christian lady who became Muslim, and we lived short time in Leicester. And my wife went with this lady, Kitty Smith, her name. She went with her to the mosque. They wouldn't allow them in. No, we can't. But because they were both white, and they didn't allow them. But the Prophet ﷺ said, "La tamna'u ima Allahi masajid Allah." Don't stop the ladies Allah created from entering His mosques. So you can't forbid them. Muslims, the problem with the Muslims, they don't even know their religion. They don't know the history. Here he's saying that Wafd Najran, when they came to the Prophet ﷺ, they entered his mosque. There's no other place. They need to meet the Prophet in the mosque, ﷺ. There's no like a meeting hall, or there's no palace. The Prophet's place of conducting the people's affair was the mosque. If he wants to say something or put a new law or pass a new Quran, they come to the mosque. That's their meeting place. And when the Christian came, they went to the mosque, inside the mosque, met the Prophet ﷺ, spoke to him about Jesus. And when their time for their communion pray, they prayed in the mosque in Medina. Now, probably when not a single Christian came to us to pray in our mosque. But when I was in the hospital, we wanted a place to pray, and they said you can use the chapel. So I went to the chapel, and it happened, the chapel, the Qibla is there, and the cross is there by the Tijah al-Qibla. So you want to pray, you will be facing the cross. So I said to the chaplain, you have to move the cross. He said, no, we're not moving the cross. I said, okay, we'll put a curtain then. So we put a curtain, the Muslim pray inside. When they pray, they draw the curtain so they can't see the cross. So he was a bit unhelpful, if you would say. He felt that if he moved the cross, then it became our place. When we started praying in Touchwood, when they were building Touchwood, they invited me and other people. They said, we want to make a place of worship for all religion to use. So they made it round. So, because we want to face Qibla, the other religions, they don't care. Although the Christian face Jerusalem, but they don't care, it seems, wherever it face. And the Hindu and Sikh and things, they didn't care. So we had the Touchwood prayer room was upstairs. Now it's near John Lewis, if you go to there. So when he asked the owner, those who are building it, it's privately owned. I said, look, if you make a mosque, a place of worship, I said, usually Muslims come to shop, and when it's time for Dhuhr, they go home to pray Dhuhr. They might not come back. If you make a place of worship, they might pray Dhuhr and go back and do 2-3 hours more shopping. You get more money. Say, okay, we'll do that. For more money, we'll do the prayer room. So he made the prayer room, but the first one was round. And they put a circle where the Qibla is. So that's the side of the Qibla. It still had people complain, why you put a ring there? What that means to you? If there is a ring to say that's Qibla, whatever your religion, shouldn't help you. But then the next year, they found that 95 to 98% of the users were Muslims. Nobody else comes. Who is going to the mosque to Touchwood, Hindu or Sikh or even Christian or Jew, and I need to pray, I go to pray. Nobody. But Muslims do. They go and pray Zuhr and Asr and Maghrib. So, so they went and built it, and then they found that it's more used, and because they make wudu, because they made a place for wudu for us. There's 2 places for wudu. And then upstairs, it's more like, became like admin and things. So they moved it to downstairs by John Lewis. So the mushrik is not najis to come to your mosque, but he's najis to go to the Kaaba. Probably Allah Azza wa Jal wants his house in Kaaba. I mean, all the mosques are the houses of Allah Azza wa Jal. But in particular, Allah Azza wa Jal wants to put the message in the mind of the non-Muslims that, yes, there is a place on earth, you cannot go there unless you believe. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Otherwise, you are not a najis physically, you are najis spiritually, not recognizing the creator and the giver. And being impure because you need ghusl, or a woman have a period or had a baby, doesn't make her impure. And Aisha said, when I was having my period, the Prophet ﷺ used to drink from the same cup. So the Prophet ﷺ, he looked where I put my mouth, and he put his mouth in the same place to show that she is not impure because she has a period. So, what about if a sheep or a goat or drank from the water you're going to use for wudu? It doesn't make it najis. Why is that? If a sheep or goat or cow, you're allowed to eat anyway. So if it's najis, Allah would have banned it. If it's najis like the pig or the dog. The dogs which is, you train them to hunt for you, they are not najis. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, مُكَلِّبِينَ تُعَلِّمُونَهُنَّ مِمَّا عَلَّمَكُمُ اللَّهِ. So you can use dogs to hunt for you. So what you do, you hit the bird, and the bird drop. And how would you find the bird? Your dog will go and get it for you. So if he gets it, he will carry it with his mouth. Doesn't make the hunted bird impure. You're not allowed to eat the bird you hunted if there's 2 things happened. Like what? If the dog brought the bird, you look at the bird, and in 2 occasions you're not allowed to eat it. Like what? Again, use your brain.
It's already dead.
Already dead. Yeah, that's right. Because sometimes the bullet might hit the head without injuring the bird, and the bird will die. So now you are not allowed to eat a dead animal because there's no sign of injury. The birds come, nothing, no injuries. And the second occasion, That's better sign that he bled. Because if the head cut off, he bled more of them. But there is another sign. Oh, you get present for that. Come and take one. Yeah, the previous class didn't guess it. If he's dead. Yeah, if it's dead. Because it could be hit by the bullet without injuring it. Yeah, take one. The second occasion, if it's been the dog ate part of it, because the dog hungry or something like this, he considered it his meal, so you can't eat his meal anymore. He started having his lunch, he ate part of it, then you give it to the dog. You're not allowed to eat it. Otherwise, you say Bismillah and eat it. Either you say Bismillah Allahu Akbar when you're shooting, or you say Bismillah Allahu Akbar when you eat. Are you allowed to do that? Yes. Aisha radiallahu anha, she asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she said, we get given, gifts, meat. And we don't know whether people said Bismillah Allahu Akbar when they slaughtered it or they didn't. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to her, Sammi wakuli. You say Bismillah and eat. So even if nobody said Bismillah, we always say Bismillah before we eat, whether people say it or not. So when the dog bring your catch, you just eat it. So if a dog managed to catch a fish for you, Farah, and there's no sign, it's dead fish, are you allowed to eat it or not? A fish. And dead, there's no sign of injury. If you don't answer, you give me back the present. You're not allowed. So you have to slaughter the fish. Who slaughtered the fish before he eats it? That's one of the dead animals you are allowed to eat. Fish, all the sea products, and what else? Dead animals you're allowed to eat. Locust, jarad. Locust you are allowed to eat. And 2 types of bloods you are allowed to eat. Which is what? But blood. Component is mainly blood. But you're allowed to eat, which is what? 2 types of things. It's in the hadith. Al-kabid wal-tihal. Liver and spleen. Because the spleen is called the cemetery of the blood. Yeah? Blood gets caught by the spleen when it's old. 3 months old. So most of the spleen is blood, but you're allowed to eat. Right, okay, so the book you need to write, if a cat touches your water, thinks it's fine because there are visitors to your house. If it's a dog or a pig, you're not allowed. If it's a dog, you need to clean it 7 times, one of it was there.